The surveillance footage captured a bone-chilling scene. A ruthless ambush cutting down a rising musical powerhouse in broad daylight, leaving fans frozen in absolute, raw agony. We watch these icons navigate the entertainment landscape, completely mesmerized by the golden illusion of their flawless artistic genius, transcendent influence, and historic cultural triumphs. They stand proudly beneath a beautifully crafted, forgiving spotlight, celebrated as multi-platinum pioneers and symbols of hope for an entire generation. Yet, just as their cultural dominance reached its absolute zenith, an unpredictable, earth-shattering secret or a violent twist of fate intervened. From devastating, speed-fueled highway crashes to dark, calculated conspiracies and sudden, drug-induced collapses, these legends met their ends far behind the glittering industry curtain. The systemic blade of a relentless, high-pressure industry stripped away their defensive armor, turning their hard-earned Vin Quang into a collection of terrifying cautionary tales. Get ready to look past the dazzling stage lights and dissect 21 haunting countdowns that left the public buried under an unfillable void of grief and speculation. Take a deep breath, steel your nerves, and prepare to face the unmasked truth of Hollywood's most heartbreaking tragedies. Malcolm X. Mode D, the systemic critique. Step away from the carefully sanitized textbooks and look straight into the mechanics of 1960s America, where any black powerhouse who dared to challenge the racial prejudices of a corrupt establishment was instantly marked by an invisible enemy. Malcolm X was a towering, unyielding force, a revolutionary icon who wielded his voice like a sledgehammer to shatter the systemic illusions of the era. But the moment his brilliant mind expanded beyond local struggles to threaten global systems of oppression, the forgiving spotlight of his massive cultural influence transformed into a target. On February 21, 1965, inside the packed Audubon Ballroom in New York, the systemic blade struck with calculated, brutal precision. A stage distraction ripped through the crowd, and before his security team could react, 3 assassins charged the stage to unleash a relentless storm of gunfire. A massive .45 caliber slug tore straight into his chest, followed by a devastating barrage from a 9mm Luger and a sawed-off shotgun. 21 exit and entry wounds ripped through his flesh right in front of his pregnant wife, Betty, and his 4 young daughters, who were forced to witness his raw agony from the front row. As blood pooled heavily on the wooden stage, his labored breathing faded into an unfillable void. Though 3 gunmen were quickly convicted, decades of chilling speculation and newly unclassified documents suggest a much darker, state-sanctioned conspiracy, proving that the house always plays dirty when a prophet speaks too much truth. The passionate, earth-shattering roars of a stadium crowd demanding systemic revolution are violently suffocated, replaced by the clinical, repetitive rhythm of a manual typewriter logging a state-monitored autopsy report in the dark. Sam Cooke. Moda, the forensic. Examine a graphic police photograph taken in the damp, neon-lit corridors of the Hacienda Motel on December 11, 1964. Specifically, the jarring visual of a man crumpled on a cold concrete floor, wearing absolutely nothing but a cheap sports jacket and a single shoe. That surreal, undignified imagery belonged to Sam Cooke, the absolute king of soul, a musical powerhouse who had spent his career wrapped in the golden illusion of pristine pop crossover appeal and elegant tuxedoed perfection. But that highly controlled public persona functioned as a fragile shield against a volatile double life and a dangerous corporate war behind the scenes. Cooke was not just a singer. He was an economic revolutionary, aggressively fighting to reclaim his master recordings, copyrights, and financial rights from predatory industry overlords. Yet, the sudden drop from an elite industry icon to a blood-soaked headline materialized in a fraction of a second inside a manager's office. Driven by a hazy chain of events involving a young woman named Elisa Boyer, who allegedly robbed the star of his clothes and cash, a furious Cooke kicked down a door demanding answers. The motel manager, Bertha Franklin, panicked and fired her .22 caliber pistol 3 times, piercing his heart and subjecting the soul legend to his final, raw agony. While the court swiftly slapped a label of justifiable self-defense onto the file, the absolute lack of his missing clothing and Boyer's subsequent arrests for kidnapping left an unfillable void where justice belonged, fueling decades of chilling speculation that his death was an orchestrated corporate execution disguised as a sordid motel dispute. The smooth, angelic vocal harmonies of a multi-platinum soul record are instantly sliced open, replaced by the mechanical, rhythmic clicking of a motel ceiling fan spinning over a dark, abandoned crime scene. Otis Redding. Mode B, the reverse tragedy. A heavy, mud-caked suitcase pulled from the freezing depths of Lake Monona, stuffed completely with unreleased master tapes, became the tragic monument to a soaring legacy cut short. Inside that luggage was Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, a track destined to become a global anthem, but its creator would never live to hear its success. Just hours before, Otis Redding was a 26-year-old soul powerhouse basking in the dazzling stage lights of a historic musical peak, hailed as the undisputed future of American music. He lived within the golden illusion of an untouchable career, but on December 10, 1967, his reality faced a sudden drop inside the cockpit of his Beechcraft H-18 plane. Flying directly into a brutal Midwestern blizzard wrapped in thick fog and gusting winds, the aircraft spun wildly out of control just 4 miles from its Madison, Wisconsin destination. Free-falling from 300 feet, the plane slammed into the frozen lake with bone-shattering force, a catastrophic impact that instantly engulfed 7 lives in icy, raw agony. While a lone band member miraculously survived by clinging to floating debris, Redding sank instantly into the dark, leaving his family and millions of fans trapped behind invisible walls of sudden grief. The systemic blade of nature's fury left an unfillable void in the heart of soul music, turning a brilliant young star into a haunting ghost of what could have been. The warm, comforting acoustic guitar strumming of a classic studio session is violently drowned out by the terrifying, metal-twisting roar of a twin-engine aircraft fracturing against a sheet of solid ice. Tupac Shakur. Mode G, the psychological ghost. Deep within the brilliant, hyperreactive mind of Tupac Shakur, an volatile psychological ghost was constantly fed by the vicious underground wars of the American rap scene. On stage and in film, he was an untouchable cultural powerhouse, an artistic icon wrapped in the golden illusion of revolutionary defiance and raw street royalty. But that larger-than-life persona became a merciless foe that completely blurred the lines between cinematic art and lethal reality, trapping him in a high-stakes double life where danger lurked behind every corner. The forgiving spotlight of his multi-platinum success had convinced him that he was invincible, but his final, earth-shattering sudden drop materialized on the night of September 7, 1996, in Las Vegas. Fresh out of a Mike Tyson boxing match, Tupac was riding in a black BMW 750iL alongside Death Row Records' kingpin Suge Knight when a white Cadillac silently glided up beside them at a red light on Flamingo Road. Without a word of warning, a storm of 14 bullets tore through the luxury vehicle, piercing Tupac's flesh 4 times. 2 rounds ripping into his chest, 1 fracturing his pelvis, and another shattering his thigh. As Suge Knight frantically slammed the gas pedal to escape at 150 kilometers per hour, Tupac lay convulsing in the passenger seat, his eyes wide in terror as he descended into raw agony. For 6 grueling days at the University Medical Center, he fought for his life in a coma, shielded by armed guards, before his final, labored breathing stopped forever at just 25 years old. The systemic blade of street violence left an unfillable void in global culture, while the total failure to locate his executioner fueled decades of chilling speculation and unanswered questions about who truly ordered the hit. The roaring, bass-heavy sirens of a police cruiser racing down the Las Vegas Strip are suddenly swallowed by the cold, mechanical hum of a hospital ventilator flatlining in a dark, heavily guarded room. The notorious B.I.G. Mode F, the inanimate observer. If the heavy, tinted glass window of a black Chevrolet Suburban could express terror, it would recount the exact second it shattered into 1,000 glittering pieces under a hail of targeted bullets. To the global music community of March 1997, Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G., was an elite hip-hop titan, a lyrical powerhouse wrapped in the golden illusion of East Coast rap dominance and star-studded bicoastal celebrations. But that larger-than-life corporate armor functioned as a fragile shield for a volatile double life caught in the crosshairs of a deadly, unresolved bicoastal hip-hop war. On the night of March 8, 1997, after leaving a glamorous industry celebration at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, Biggie sat comfortably in the passenger seat of his SUV, completely unaware that a merciless foe was tracking his exact coordinates. As his entourage stopped at a red light on Wilshire Boulevard, a black Chevrolet Impala rolled up beside them with clinical precision. A lone, bald assassin dressed in a dark blue suit lowered his window, offering no words and showing no hesitation before unleashing four devastating gunshots that tore through the vehicle's door. The sudden drop from an untouchable rap king to a dying man materialized in a fraction of a second as bullet after bullet ripped into his chest, abdomen, and arm, staining his gray suit with blood. He was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in a frantic race against time, but his final, labored breathing stopped at 1:15 a.m. The systemic blade of an ongoing cycle of street retaliation claimed his life at just 24 years old, exactly 6 months after the murder of Tupac Shakur, leaving an unfillable void in the music industry and an ongoing legacy of chilling speculation, as his executioner vanished permanently into the dark. The booming, high-energy bass line of a celebratory West Coast party anthem is violently sliced open, instantly replaced by the rhythmic, mechanical ticking of a city traffic light changing from green to blood red in the midnight silence. XXXTentacion. Modi, the ripple of one choice. In the unforgiving machinery of fate, a single impulsive choice to walk out of a Florida home carrying tens of thousands of dollars in cash inside a designer bag became the catalyst for a lethal ambush. Yase Onfroy, known globally as XXXTentacion, was the raw, polarizing voice of a new SoundCloud rap generation, an artistic icon wrapped in the golden illusion of multi-platinum streaming success and a rapidly evolving public redemption arc. But that digital shield offered zero protection against the cold reality of a predatory street plot. On the afternoon of June 18, 2018, as his sleek BMW i8 prepared to exit the parking lot of Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach, his forgiving spotlight vanished in less than 45 seconds. A red Dodge Journey violently blocked his path, and two masked gunmen stepped out, brandishing firearms and demanding his Louis Vuitton bag. When the 20-year-old artist stood his ground, the thieves unleashed a sudden drop of pure violence, firing 4 point-blank rounds directly into his neck and chest. His body jerked violently, his head slumping heavily against the steering wheel as blood pooled across the leather seats, plunging his millions of fans into absolute, raw agony. By 4:50 p.m., doctors at Broward Health North declared his final, labored breathing over. The systemic blade of random street greed cut his brilliant career short, leaving an unfillable void in the music world and a lingering trail of chilling speculation about how easily an empire can be dismantled by one unprotected afternoon. The haunting, melancholy acoustic chords of an emo rap anthem are violently cut short, replaced by the mundane, rhythmic clicking of a police evidence camera capturing the blood-stained steering wheel of a luxury sports car. Pop Smoke. Mo J, the social media illusion. Step into the hyper-curated world of digital stardom, where a single, innocent Instagram post can instantly transform a luxury sanctuary into a lethal hunting ground. Bashar Baraka Jackson, known to millions as Pop Smoke, was the undisputed king of the New York drill scene, a rising musical powerhouse wrapped in the golden illusion of multi-platinum streaming numbers and overnight Hollywood success. He stood beneath a dazzling stage light, projecting an image of absolute invincibility. But that digital shield was shattered in the early morning hours of February 19, 2020, inside a $2.5 million mansion in the Hollywood Hills. By inadvertently broadcasting his exact address on social media while showing off designer gift bags, Pop Smoke unknowingly invited an invisible enemy straight to his doorstep. At 4:30 a.m., 4 masked intruders dressed in black slipped through a back door with clinical precision. The sudden drop materialized in a flash of pure terror inside his master bedroom. Jolted awake, the 20-year-old artist courageously fought back, only to be met by a ruthless barrage of 3 gunshots to his back and chest. As a bullet pierced his heart, subjecting him to absolute raw agony, the intruders cold-bloodedly stripped a $10,000 Rolex from his wrist before vanishing into the night. He was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but by 5:12 a.m., his final, labored breathing stopped forever. The systemic blade of street violence claimed his life for a second-hand luxury item that the killers sold for a mere $2,000, leaving an unfillable void in the rap world and a chilling warning about the fatal price of modern digital exposure. The booming, aggressive bass frequencies of a club-ready drill anthem are violently silenced, instantly replaced by the eerie, low-resolution hum of a home security app alerting an empty smartphone to a broken boundary in the dark. Nipsey Hussle. Mode C, the immersive witness. I remember the heavy, suffocating silence that blanketed the intersection of Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue on that bright Sunday afternoon. To the city of Los Angeles, Ermia's Askedom, known globally as Nipsey Hussle, was far more than a rap powerhouse. He was a community savior, a brilliant icon wrapped in the golden illusion of economic independence and neighborhood transformation. He walked among his people without bulletproof vests or massive security details, preferring to bask in the genuine, forgiving spotlight of the community he fought to uplift. But that beautiful, inspiring trust functioned as an unprotected gateway for a sudden drop into absolute horror. On March 31, 2019, at 3:20 p.m., I can still envision the chilling reality as a disgruntled local associate named Eric Holder walked up to Nipsey outside his Marathon clothing store. Following a brief, tense conversation, Holder vanished, only to return minutes later with a firearm blazing. 6 cold-blooded bullets tore through Nipsey's flesh, striking his head, chest, back, and legs, causing him to collapse onto the asphalt in front of his own business. Before fleeing to a getaway car, Holder stood over his bleeding body and viciously kicked him in the head, subjecting the visionary to his final raw agony. At 3:55 p.m., doctors pronounced him dead, shattering the dreams of an entire city and leaving an unfillable void behind. The systemic blade of street politics claimed a giant over a petty personal insult, leaving millions of witnesses trapped in a state of chilling speculation and deep, permanent regret. The inspirational, soul-stirring vocal hooks of an independent rap anthem are violently cut short, instantly drowned out by the chaotic, echoing wails of a community gathering to lay flowers on a blood-stained Crenshaw sidewalk. Young Dolph. Mode E, the paradox of peaks. Step onto the blood-slicked floor of Makeda's homemade butter cookies in Memphis on November 17, 2021, where the absolute peak of independent hip-hop dominance clashed with a brutal street execution. Adolph Thornton Jr., known to millions as Young Dolph, was a self-made musical powerhouse, an industry icon wrapped in the golden illusion of total financial freedom and an untouchable empire. He had spent years successfully navigating a dangerous double life, proudly broadcasting his street royalty under a forgiving spotlight. But that beautiful aura of invincibility faced a sudden drop in broad daylight. At 12:24 p.m., just moments after pulling up in his custom, bright orange Chevrolet Corvette C8 to purchase cookies for his mother, a white Mercedes-Benz screeched to a halt outside. 2 masked gang members jumped out, instantly unleashing a merciless storm of over 22 bullets from a Draco AK-47 and a 9mm handgun. Glass shattered violently as bullet after bullet ripped through the storefront and into Dolph's body, spraying blood across the display counter and subjecting him to raw agony. He collapsed heavily behind the counter, his eyes glazing over as his final, labored breathing stopped at 12:39 p.m. Having miraculously survived over 100 rounds of gunfire in a bulletproof Escalade just years prior, this unprotected routine stop allowed the systemic blade of gang warfare to claim his life at 36, leaving an unfillable void in Memphis and a permanent legacy of chilling speculation. The upbeat, bass-heavy rhythm of an independent street anthem is violently sliced open, replaced by the mundane, high-pitched crunch of heavy construction tape sealing off a shattered bakery window. Sean Taylor. Mode F, the inanimate observer. If the cold, heavy steel blade of a display machete resting beside a master bed could speak, it would recount the exact second its metallic reflection was shattered by the flash of a lethal firearm. To the sports world of November 2007, Sean Taylor was a towering NFL powerhouse, a defensive icon wrapped in the golden illusion of an untouchable multimillion-dollar football career and a picture-perfect family life. But that celebrated athletic armor functioned as a fragile shield against a random, creeping criminal underworld. On the night of November 26, 2007, inside his Miami, Florida home, the forgiving spotlight of his stardom offered zero protection, when a group of intruders kicked open his door. Jolted awake by heavy footsteps at 2:15 a.m., Taylor immediately grabbed the machete to defend his girlfriend, Jackie Garcia, and their 18-month-old daughter. As the bedroom door burst open, a panicked thief unleashed a sudden drop of pure violence, firing 2 deafening gunshots into the dark. A single bullet tore into Taylor's right thigh, severing his femoral artery and plunging him into absolute raw agony as blood drenched the floor. While the intruders fled into the night, doctors spent 7 grueling hours transfusing over 10 liters of blood in a desperate race against time. His final, labored breathing stopped forever on November 27th. The systemic blade of a botched robbery took a legend at just 24 years old, leaving an unfillable void in the Washington Redskins organization and an endless trail of chilling speculation about how a microscopic shift in a bullet's path could have altered destiny. The roaring, echoing cheers of 70,000 stadium fans celebrating a bone-crushing tackle are violently silenced, replaced by the rhythmic, clinical beep of a hospital heart monitor slowing down to a permanent flatline. Aaliyah. Mode B, the reverse tragedy. A crushed, metallic fuselage resting in the marshlands of the Bahamas on August 25, 2001, served as the sudden, heartbreaking tomb for the future of R&B. Just 50 seconds before the impact, Aaliyah was a 22-year-old global powerhouse basking in the golden illusion of an untouchable career, a multi-platinum icon fresh off filming her Rock the Boat music video. She stood proudly beneath a dazzling stage light, defining a generation's style and sound. But that beautiful reality faced an absolute sudden drop the moment her entourage boarded a twin-engine Cessna 402B. Desperate to return to the United States early, the crew packed the small aircraft with heavy film equipment and luggage, unknowingly overloading the plane by over 300 kilograms. At 7:05 p.m., the engines roared, but within less than a minute of takeoff, the plane swayed violently at 50 feet before nose-diving straight into the dirt with bone-shattering force. The catastrophic explosion instantly subjected those on board to a quiet, raw agony. When rescuers arrived, Aaliyah's body lay thrown from the wreckage, having died instantly from severe impact trauma. The subsequent forensic investigation exposed a horrifying double life behind the flight. The pilot had completely faked his license and had traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system, turning the luxury charter into a literal death trap. The systemic blade of administrative negligence and corporate haste left an unfillable void in pop culture, leaving millions of fans trapped behind invisible walls of sudden, permanent grief. The smooth, rhythmic vocal tracks of an unreleased R&B ballad are abruptly cut short, violently replaced by the terrifying, metal-twisting crunch of an airplane frame fracturing against the earth. Merlin Santana. Mode A, the forensic, examined the cracked, blue-tinted passenger window of a Buick Regal parked on a dark Los Angeles street on November 9, 2002, specifically, the trajectory of a single bullet hole that pierced the glass at 2:30 a.m. That clinical mark of street violence belonged to Merlin Santana, a 26-year-old Hollywood powerhouse who had spent his youth wrapped in the golden illusion of television stardom, celebrated for his magnetic performances on The Steve Harvey Show. But that highly celebrated public charm functioned as a fragile shield against a bizarre, volatile double life happening entirely without his knowledge or consent. Santana was an innocent artist merely leaving a local party. Yet the forgiving spotlight of his rising career evaporated into an earth-shattering sudden drop in a fraction of a second. A 15-year-old girl named Monique King had falsely accused Santana of sexual assault, prompting 2 men, Damian Gates and Brandon Bynes, to ambush the vehicle without checking the facts. A ruthless barrage of 6 gunshots tore through the car window, striking Santana directly and subjecting him to his final, raw agony as his head slumped forward. He was declared dead before reaching the hospital, leaving an unfillable void where a brilliant acting legacy should have flourished. The systemic blade of a deadly lie resulted in long prison sentences for the attackers, leaving behind an endless trail of chilling speculation about how a single, fabricated story can permanently destroy an innocent man's future. The cheerful, high-energy studio laugh track of a hit network television sitcom is violently cut short, instantly replaced by the clinical, repetitive clicking of a police detective locking a pair of handcuffs in an interrogation room. Darrent Williams. Mode H, the statistical descent. If you want to comprehend the absolute fragility of human existence, measure the life of Darrent Williams through the cold, calculated metrics of a single midnight timeline. At 11:59 p.m. on December 31, 2006, the 24-year-old rising NFL powerhouse was operating at 100% capacity, an elite cornerstone for the Denver Broncos basking in the golden illusion of a multimillion-dollar sports career. But inside the packed Shelter nightclub in Denver, Colorado, a volatile verbal altercation erupted between his entourage and members of the Rolling 30s Crips gang, setting off a lethal countdown. At exactly 12:55 a.m., as Williams and his friends stepped into a white Chevrolet Tahoe, a mysterious white SUV tracked their exact coordinates. Within less than 60 seconds, a sudden drop of pure violence materialized when a lone shooter named Willie Clark unleashed a barrage of exactly 15 bullets through the Tahoe's passenger glass. A single round tore through Williams' neck, severing his aorta and causing a catastrophic 90% drop in blood pressure within seconds. He was rushed to the Denver Health Medical Center, but by 1:35 a.m., just 96 minutes after entering the new year, his final, labored breathing stopped forever. The systemic blade of gang retaliation left an unfillable void in professional sports, while a 2010 court ruling handed Clark a life sentence, leaving behind a chilling reminder of how a single night can turn an elite athlete into a cold statistic. The booming, celebratory bassline of a crowded New Year's Eve nightclub is violently sliced open, instantly replaced by the clinical, mechanical whir of an emergency room heart monitor flatlining into a single, continuous tone. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Mode G, the psychological ghost. Deep within the brilliant, hyper-creative mind of Lisa Left Eye Lopez, a dark psychological ghost had taken firm root during her spiritual retreat in Honduras. To the global music industry, the 30-year-old superstar was a multi-platinum powerhouse, a rebellious icon wrapped in the golden illusion of TLC's record-breaking pop-rap dominance and creative freedom. But that eccentric, energetic persona cloaked a volatile double life haunted by an intense, invisible enemy. Just 2 weeks prior, a devastating incident had materialized when a car she was riding in accidentally struck and killed a 10-year-old Honduran boy. Consumed by a chilling obsession over the fact that the child shared a similar last name, Lisa became entirely convinced that a silent predator was hunting her, writing chilling journal entries about sensing her own death approaching. On the afternoon of April 25, 2002, her private chaos collided with reality on a bumpy dirt road in La Ceiba. Behind the wheel of a Mitsubishi Montero Sport, she hit the gas, but the vehicle suddenly veered off the asphalt. Panicking, she yanked the wheel too hard to the left, triggering a violent, earth-shattering sudden drop. The SUV flipped 3 times with metal-screeching force, throwing her from the vehicle and inflicting severe skull trauma that plunged her into immediate, raw agony before her eyes closed forever. The systemic blade of fate fulfilled her final eerie prophecies, leaving an unfillable void in the music world and a legacy permanently haunted by her final days. The high-energy, futuristic hip-hop beat of a multi-platinum pop anthem is violently warped and distorted, instantly replaced by the eerie, low-frequency hum of a tropical wind blowing across a quiet, abandoned jungle road. Kelvin Kiptum. Mode B, the reverse tragedy. A crushed silver Toyota Premio wrapped tightly around a massive tree trunk on the Eldoret Kaptagat Road remains the haunting monument to a historic legacy shattered in seconds. Before that catastrophic impact on February 11, 2024, Kelvin Kiptum was a 24-year-old sports powerhouse basking in the golden illusion of absolute human supremacy, a world record-breaking marathon icon destined to officially break the legendary 2-hour barrier. He stood proudly beneath a dazzling stage light, celebrated globally as the future of athletics. But that brilliant trajectory faced a sudden drop into darkness at 11 p.m. in the Kenyan night. Behind the wheel alongside his coach, Gervais Hakizimana, Kiptum suddenly lost control of the vehicle, veering sharply off the tarmac into a devastating, metal-crushing collision. The bone-shattering force of the impact subjected the young champion and his coach to immediate, fatal trauma, cutting their lives short before rescue teams could even arrive. The systemic blade of a late-night highway accident left an unfillable void in the running world, turning an elite athlete who spent his entire life racing against time into a tragic symbol of a brilliant future stolen in a heartbeat. The rhythmic, echoing sound of an elite marathoner's sneakers pacing perfectly against the pavement is violently cut short, instantly replaced by the terrifying, metal-twisting roar of an engine fracturing against solid wood. Kyrie Jackson. Mode D, the systemic critique. Step away from the glamorous draft day celebrations and look straight into the high-stakes machinery of the NFL, where any young powerhouse who climbs out of poverty to claim his dream is instantly subjected to the fragile reality of newfound fame. Kyrie Jackson was a rising star, the newly drafted future of the Minnesota Vikings, whose speed and aggressive play style had placed him under a dazzling stage light. He stood on the verge of total cultural and financial elevation, wrapped in the golden illusion of an elite multi-million-dollar sports career. But that celebrated athletic shield offers zero protection against the hazardous chaos of the public streets. On the night of July 6, 2024, in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, his brilliant trajectory faced an earth-shattering sudden drop. At 3:15 a.m., as Jackson and two childhood friends traveled in a Dodge Charger, a speeding vehicle out of nowhere slammed into them at high velocity. The catastrophic impact sent the Charger flying, spinning wildly before smashing face-first into a roadside concrete pillar with bone-shattering force. The systemic blade of a reckless midnight driver subjected the 24-year-old athlete and his companions to immediate, fatal trauma, killing them on the spot and plunging their families into absolute raw agony. Emergency crews arrived to find a wreckage so horrific it left an unfillable void where a legendary career should have flourished, turning a team's defensive savior into a haunting ghost of what could have been. The roaring, echoing whistle of an NFL referee signaling a dominant defensive play is violently sliced open, instantly replaced by the clinical, repetitive wail of a police cruiser arriving at a dark, smoke-filled highway wreckage. Jeff Gladney. Mode A, the forensic. Examine a piece of twisted, blackened aluminum torn from the wreckage of a custom vehicle on the Woodall-Rogers Freeway on May 30, 2022. Specifically, the shattered emblem of a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon embedded into a concrete pillar at 2:30 a.m. That horrific, compressed metal artifact belonged to Jeff Gladney, a 25-year-old elite cornerback who was living within the golden illusion of a massive career redemption arc. A former first-round draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings, Gladney had just signed a fresh contract with the Arizona Cardinals, stepping back into the forgiving spotlight of professional football after a period of intense public scrutiny. But that celebrated athletic armor functioned as a fragile shield against the unpredictable hazards of a midnight drive. As he navigated the highway alongside his girlfriend, Mercedes Palacios, another vehicle suddenly materialized in their lane, forcing a high-speed swerve that triggered an earth-shattering sudden drop. The luxury SUV spiraled completely out of control, violently fracturing against a concrete support beam with bone-shattering force. The catastrophic impact subjected both passengers to immediate, raw agony, killing them on the scene before emergency responders could even deploy rescue equipment. The systemic blade of a highway collision completely dismantled his hard-earned comeback season, leaving an unfillable void in the sports world and a lingering trail of chilling speculation about the terrifying fragility of a life rebuilt. The booming, high-energy echoes of a stadium locker room celebration are violently cut short, instantly replaced by the clinical, rhythmic crackle of a highway flare burning down on a dark, empty stretch of Texas asphalt. Chance Perdomo. Mode I, the ripple of one choice. In the intricate mechanics of fate, a single decision to climb onto a high-performance motorcycle for a late-night ride through Manhattan became the ultimate catalyst for a devastating tragedy. Chance Perdomo was a rising Hollywood powerhouse, a charismatic young icon wrapped in the golden illusion of global stardom through major breakout roles in chilling adventures of Sabrina and Gen V. He stood comfortably beneath a dazzling stage light, celebrated by critics as a brilliant future leader of the entertainment industry. But that celebrated celebrity status functioned as a fragile shield against a sudden drop into pure horror on the city streets. At 10:45 p.m., as he experienced the adrenaline-filled freedom of riding his bike through the dark, a vehicle in front of him abruptly switched lanes with zero warning. Having absolutely no time to brake, his motorcycle collided head-on, skidding violently across the asphalt in a trail of sparks. The catastrophic force of the impact threw his body onto the concrete road, shattering his helmet and subjecting the young actor to immediate, fatal trauma. By 11:10 p.m., emergency responders pronounced him dead on the scene, turning his soaring career into a sudden, heartbreaking memory. The systemic blade of a random traffic accident left an unfillable void in the entertainment world, leaving his castmates and millions of fans trapped behind invisible walls of sudden grief. The high-energy, synchronized cheers of a Hollywood red carpet premiere are violently sliced open, instantly replaced by the quiet, mechanical hum of a street sweeper clearing broken glass from a dark Manhattan intersection. Donny Hathaway, Mode G, the psychological ghost. Deep within the brilliant, complex mind of Donny Hathaway, a dark psychological ghost had taken firm root, waging a relentless war against his legendary musical genius. To the global music industry, the 33-year-old artist was a peerless vocal powerhouse, a multi-platinum icon wrapped in the golden illusion of pristine R&B duets, Grammy triumphs, and timeless soul mastery. But that celebrated public image functioned as a fragile shield against a volatile double life haunted by severe paranoid schizophrenia. He spent years trapped under a heavy cloud of mental torment, often believing that secret international syndicates were trying to steal his voice and brainwaves through the recording equipment. On the night of January 13, 1979, during a high-stakes recording session at Essex House Hotel in New York City, his invisible enemy finally triggered an absolute, earth-shattering sudden drop. Overwhelmed by delusions, Hathaway abruptly walked away from his friends, returned to his 15th floor room, and carefully removed the heavy glass window pane from its frame. He stepped out into the freezing midnight air, free-falling over 150 feet before slamming onto a sidewalk canopy below with bone-shattering force. The catastrophic impact subjected the soul pioneer to immediate, fatal trauma, leaving his family, fans, and duet partner Roberta Flack buried under an unfillable void of grief. The systemic blade of an untreated psychological prison cut his brilliant career short, leaving an endless trail of chilling speculation about the hidden price of creative genius. The warm, comforting acoustic piano chords of a classic soul duet are violently warped and distorted, instantly replaced by the terrifying, whistling roar of cold winter wind rushing through an open, 15th floor hotel window in the dark. Selena Quintanilla, Mode the Forensic, examine a single, deformed .38 caliber Taurus Model 85 revolver slug recovered from a hospital operating room on March 31, 1995. Specifically, the devastating ballistic trajectory that entered a young woman's right shoulder, severed her subclavian artery, and exited her chest. That cold piece of lead instantly dismantled the life of Selena Quintanilla, the 23-year-old queen of Tejano music, a global cultural powerhouse wrapped in the golden illusion of multi-platinum crossover pop stardom and fashion empire expansion. But that beautiful, celebrated public persona functioned as a fragile shield against a volatile, parasitic corporate war happening directly behind the scenes. Selena was completely blind to the financial treachery of Yolanda Saldivar, the trusted manager of her boutiques and president of her fan club, who had been systematically embezzling tens of thousands of dollars from loyal fans. The forgiving spotlight of Selena's legendary career faced an earth-shattering sudden drop in a fraction of a second inside room 158 of the Days Inn Motel in Corpus Christi, Texas. When Selena confronted Saldivar and demanded the missing financial records, her trusted confidant pulled a hidden firearm from her purse. As Selena frantically ran toward the lobby to escape, Saldivar pulled the trigger, unleashing a single bullet that plunged the music icon into absolute, raw agony. Selena collapsed onto the lobby floor in a pool of blood, using her final, labored breathing to name her killer before her eyes closed forever at 1:05 p.m. The systemic blade of a toxic obsession and financial greed left an unfillable void in Latin music, leaving millions of fans trapped behind permanent walls of sudden grief while fueling decades of chilling speculation. The vibrant, upbeat horns and infectious rhythm of a multi-platinum Tejano pop anthem are violently sliced open, instantly replaced by the repetitive, mechanical wail of a motel security alarm ringing out into a deserted Texas parking lot. Bobby DeBarge, Mode D, the Systemic Critique. Step away from the glittering falsetto harmonies and look straight into the high-stakes machinery of the 1970s Motown music industry, where any young powerhouse who climbs out of a deeply traumatic childhood to claim his dream is instantly subjected to a brutal corporate environment. Bobby DeBarge was a musical genius, the lead singer of Switch, whose incredible vocal range placed him beneath a dazzling stage light. He stood on the verge of total R&B domination, wrapped in the golden illusion of fame, fortune, and family legacy. But that celebrated artistic shield offered zero protection against an untreated generational cycle of pain and addiction. DeBarge spent his life caught in a volatile double life, using heroin to escape the deep-seated trauma of his youth, while trying to maintain his pristine public persona. His brilliant trajectory faced an earth-shattering sudden drop when the pressure of the industry and his private demons completely overwhelmed his career, leading to a devastating downward spiral into drug trafficking and a subsequent 5-year prison sentence. The systemic blade of an exploitative industry that capitalized on his talent while ignoring his profound psychological suffering subjected the star to years of quiet, raw agony. Even after his release, his fractured health never recovered, and on August 16, 1995, complications from AIDS brought his final, labored breathing to a close at just 39 years old. His passing left an unfillable void where a legendary redemption arc should have flourished, leaving a chilling reminder of how a system can celebrate a voice while completely dismantling the human being behind it. The smooth, celestial falsetto runs of a classic Motown soul ballad are violently warped and distorted, instantly replaced by the heavy, echoing clang of a steel prison cell door locking in the midnight silence. Now, as the cameras go out and the spotlight fades, silence descends upon the legacy of 21 prominent Black individuals who died young and mysteriously, and the truth behind it. Leave your comments below and remember to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next videos. Because the line between spectacular success and the abyss of fate is sometimes defined by a single rule, a wrong decision, or a fateful moment.